The Swifty fandom is in complete pandemonium right now. Hence, this poem that I came across over the weekend. This is a poem written by a Swifty named Kaylin Weir, and it's getting a lot of attention right now. It's incredibly emotionally impactful. The day Taylor Swift got engaged, little girls screamed, grown women cried, and the awkward child we all carry inside finally felt chosen.
See, I didn't see this initial post. All I saw was a response, like a quote tweet that said, "I can't believe these people actually walk amongst us."
They do. It's kind of terrifying. So, you know, recognizing the emotional volatility of the average Swiftie and the impact that this engagement announcement has had on them, you will understand why they are directing their fury at her ex-boyfriend, Matty Healy's new fiancé, who is named Gabriette Bechtel. I'll explain why. It's not just because Gabriette is dating someone that Taylor Swift once dated. That would be no big deal, right? But Gabriette obviously has to be on social media like the rest of us, and she saw the engagement announcement, she saw the album announcement and all that, and she commented on a skit content creator's post. This influencer is named Veronica. She was making up what she thinks the track list on Life of a Showgirl is going to sound like as a little joke. And it appears that she has since deleted this video, actually. But Gabriette commented on it, saying that she wanted her to record a spoof version of the track Actually Romantic, which is track number 7 on the Perspective album.
Okay.
And that's all that she said. She just requested a spoof of one of the songs that doesn't even exist. It hasn't even reached anyone's ears yet. And this was taken by the Swiftie fandom as a specific dig at Taylor.
And they got very mad.
They went to extreme lengths to show they were not going to let this one slide. So all she did was like that video and comment on it. Here were some of the responses from Swifties following that. That Gabriette woman is so uninteresting and untalented. Her only personality is obsessing about her druggy fiance's ex. Does he not give you any attention? 'Cause we can tell. Another Swiftie said, we should take it easy. Gabriette has been through so much. First, she needs to stare at Matty Healy every morning. Then she'll be further punished with having Denise as a mother-in-law. On top of that, she's friends with Charlie XCX. And I have a problem with Charlie XCX because on the Brat album, Charlie made this song called Sympathy is a Knife, which is directed pretty blatantly at Taylor Swift.
Okay.
At the time that she wrote the song, Taylor Swift was still dating Matty Healy, and Charlie XCX is married to Matty Healy's bandmate and childhood friend. So they had to interact a lot, and she was incredibly jealous of Taylor Swift for just being the absolute greatest commercial success and beauty queen ever. Meanwhile, Charlie XCX is like scraping by on an SNL performance and a Kamala Harris endorsement and a dream.
She got a cameo.
Anyway, Gabriette and Charlie XCX are friends. Gabriette is obviously not friends with Taylor Swift because that would make things incredibly awkward.
I don't think any of these people are friends. I think they're allies, accomplices, if you will.
So Swifties came up with this actually quite creative way to target Gabriette on social media. I haven't even seen this attempted before, but what they did is they invaded her tagged photos on Instagram with messages like the one you're about to see. They tagged her in photos that consecutively say KYS and a bunch of photos of Taylor Swift as well.
That's just evil. That's just kind of evil.
This one Swiftie is trying to police this behavior, saying, please leave Gabriette alone now. This is unfunny and not Swiftism. Have some shame.
Remember these types of events when people talk about how women would be inherently more empathetic world leaders?
That's funny.
Like, think about that. Like, every so often that you get into this debate about how women would naturally be better leaders because they have more empathy. They have the ability to truly care about other people. Also women.
Right. The most petty shit imaginable. Like, these women would all hit the big red button in the Oval Office.
Like, no, it's like the meme was like after they named the very first female umpire in baseball, Babylon Bee had a meme. It says like, first female umpire ejects player for something he did in a dream last night.
Well, in this second screenshot, you can see Swifties tagging Gabriette on Instagram in photos of her that I guess weren't very flattering. Captioned, "You look like a..."
We can't say that word.
It's a word that starts with the letter T and rhymes with...
Granny.
Granny. Yes.
You can't say that on YouTube.
Yeah.
And it's rude.
Yeah.
It's rude. And again...
She is not, by the way. She's a biological female.
This is about somebody that none of these people will ever meet.
One of these reactions from a Swiftie said, "Clocked in to see what these Swifties were actually up to. Mind you, a full 24 hours into harassing a woman who did nothing. And would you look at that? Transphobia. What a lovely, normal fandom. Make the friendship bracelets, am I right?" I think that's what bothers people the most, is that Taylor Swift has this wholesome Chungus image. And so do her fans.
It's dichotomous.
And then you look at their actual behavior and you see, at the very minimum, Taylor Swift is a ruthless businesswoman who is only out for herself. And her life is a performance.
Yeah.
And her fans are not just petty, but kind of sociopathic. Yeah. And this is how they behave unchecked. Yeah. And Taylor Swift obviously can do nothing to police the way that her fans behave online. I'm not saying that she should, job. And not that she is responsible for them. But it says a lot when people are this committed to keeping up the public image of being wholesome chunguses who just like singing songs
also
and
KYS.
Kumbaya around the fire, and we're swapping our friendship bracelets and making cookies, and we just wish that everyone could be happy and be nice to Taylor. But this is the reality of it. They're psycho.
The tweet that I always, I mean, I've reposted it multiple times. The absolute worst person you've ever met in your entire life. The meanest, most awful individual has a "Be Kind" sticker on the back of their car. And that's just it's weird. It's just the way humanity works.
$0
to be kind.
To be kind.
It also costs $0
to not be a
mean.
shitty person.
Yeah. What they don't tell you during that is that their idea of what a shitty person is very rigid, in that if you don't fall into the category of nice person, they're going to be awful to you because, they don't realize that they're culturally very much leftists and Marxists, and they believe the ends justify the means, because as long as their actions are what they view as pure, then any bad behavior is excused.
These are people whose core belief about themselves and about the world is, I am a good person. I am a decent effing human, trademark. That's their entire worldview.
And the sad thing is like, I don't like it, but at least in the service of like ruthlessly evil political goals, I kind of get it. You're an evil bastard. You want to reach
Gavin Newsom pretending to be a Swiftie on a podcast.
You want to reach your political ends, so you just lie and understand the ends justify the means because you're evil and you want power. Fine. What do they get for this? So what? Because
you're not going to get free concert tickets out of telling Gabriette to KYS.
Like, it doesn't make any sense. It's actually, never mind. I changed my mind. It's actually almost more impressive. Not even for power, just the love of the game. Just a hateful, mean, awful person for the love of the game.
I don't know what's worse. The idea that these Swifties are children, which is certainly possible, or that they're adults.
They're adults. They're HR reps and laptop job holders.
I would say there's a mix. There's a mix of both. I think that the chronically online Stan accounts are mainly high school aged teenagers and young adults who are unemployed and living at home, and that's the demographic we're talking about here. Just the same way that a man who identifies as a male feminist is obviously a fraudulent person, trying to put on airs of being selfless and noble and non-threatening. Any woman who fashions herself as the girls supporting girls type, the, dyed-in-the-wool feminist who just wants to celebrate girl power, love, peace, everything. That is Taylor Swift, by the way. that type of woman never, it actually supports other girls. Like the whole concept of girls supporting girls was it was used as a weapon so that women can't hold each other accountable for anything. And when it actually comes to a moment where they need to be called out, like this moment, then they start to realize, this group of people like pride themselves on being feminists and all about like female empowerment and stuff, but you never tend to even hate men. You actually like have most of your outrage saved for other women the vast majority of the time, because they don't idolize the same person you idolize. It's a cult.
Who you'll never meet and who has no actual bearing in your life.
Who also doesn't benefit from you behaving this way. I saw a tweet from friend of the show, Colonel Kurtz, as well, regarding this situation.
Yeah, she went in on this.
I didn't even realize she was like keeping up with the play-by-play of it all, but here's what she said. I don't think Taylor Swift is a great person. Would a nice person intentionally and premeditatively publicly out a struggling opioid addict who claimed to be sober for trying to secretly buy painkillers from a friend of a friend? Taylor, you didn't do that to help Matty Healy. You did it to embarrass him after he backed out of the stupid fantasy relationship you kicked your longtime boyfriend Joe Alwyn to the curb to pursue, after you'd been emotionally cheating on him with Matty Healy for a while behind his back. Would a good person publicly complain about their ex's clinical depression, and what a drag it was for you to have your superficial happy bubblegum view of the world brought down by someone who was plagued by sadness and depression?
I don't think she actually has that view of the world. I think she's constructed an image that's not necessarily indicative of what she actually believes. That's not a bad thing. That's just branding.
Can't tell if she's referring to Joe Alwyn having depression or Matty Healy. Taylor, did you think that you were helping Joe Alwyn, who never betrayed you and to this day has never said an unkind word about you, by publicly exposing and ridiculing his struggles with depression? Joe has always insisted on his privacy, so why did you publicly shame him for struggling with sadness? Taylor did all of these things. She didn't use their names in the songs, but she included specific identifiers in the songs to make it obvious whom she was dissing, and she generated many negative headlines against these guys in the media. And no, it's not an excuse that it's just her art. Taylor is nowhere near the caliber of artist where publicly exposing and ridiculing her exes is somehow in the service of art. Letting everyone know that Matty Healy is still a dopehead trying to get a fix and that Alwyn is a real downer does absolutely nothing helpful for art or society. Are y'all really trying to tell me this girl can't find anything else to write about? Sounds like a pretty shallow person. Also, if your best friend used to be Blake Lively, then I also have to wonder how a nice girl ends up with an evil manipulator like Blake. Birds of a feather flocking together and all that.
Colonel Kurtz always comes with the receipts.
She does. She really knows her stuff.
I disagree with her about her conclusion about the art. Look, if the future of diss tracks is a white woman, then that's a societal problem. Then we are lacking in diss tracks. Also, the caliber of art it's subjective, so that's an individual interpretation, and her commercial success does not preclude her being able to make music about whatever she wants to. And the second we just decide one is illegitimate because she's massively successful says more about our opinions of how art is perceived than it does about the art itself. She's free to write about whatever she wants. And one could also say that the ability to hook an audience through QAnon level clues is indicative of a mixture of good art and extremely good branding. So I don't know. I'm not going to be the one to tell her that what she should have talked about ponies and horses instead of her ex's problems. I don't know. I disagree.
Ponies.
I don't know. Like, well, what does she talk about if not this? Actually, you know what? It would be funny if she started making diss tracks about bad artists that she worked with, or like, I had a PR,
I want to hear that.
I had a branding manager who wasn't up to snuff, but I don't think people are going to buy those albums.
I want her to make an album about Scooter Braun.
There you go.
That would be fun. Of course, the confessional style of Taylor Swift's music lends itself naturally to her drawing on her own personal experiences, making references that, because of her high visibility to the public, are easy to read for her fans especially, and they are going to take that as a permission slip to go after someone they believe has wronged Taylor. And again, I don't think that she should be held responsible for policing the behavior of her fandom, unless, of course, she's actively encouraging it, which I don't think her songs are. The main point is, and that Colonel Kurtz is picking up on this, Taylor Swift does very carefully curate this image of just a harmless little wholesome girl in her bedroom with her guitar and her songs that she's just such a quirk chungus and she's so cringe and idiosyncratic and she doesn't really fit in, and she's just the most wholesome chungus that ever chungused. That is her public image.
Nobody's ever chungused harder.
And it's not accurate to who she really is.
No, it's not. I will agree with what Colonel Kurtz says that, again, she's done the research, she's got the receipts, that if all said is true, then yes, that makes Taylor Swift, kind of a bad person. But I already kind of believed that Taylor Swift was neutral anyway. She's just a product.
No one other than her fans.
She's just a giant, tall, lanky, blonde product.
Yeah.
And that's fine too. And here's the other thing. At what point do any of these men just decide to just cut bait and not even try if you know that you're going to put yourself in the line of fire?
They knew what they were getting into, of course.
Yeah, and again, look, I'm not here to stand for Taylor Swift, but Joe Alwyn's ability to be a stand-up guy now has not been diminished in any way, shape, or form, and whatever crap he's taking from the fan base only kind of heightens the argument that he's a good person, if in fact he is getting a bunch of backlash that he doesn't deserve and he's still not speaking on it.
Well, the truth is, we know nothing about these people. We have no idea who they really are behind the scenes. Yeah. And only Taylor Swift's most dedicated fans have an emotional need to believe that she is a good person. Yeah. I have no such need within me. I don't need to think that Taylor Swift or any other musician is a good person for me to engage with their output.
They're just, to me, they're neutral. They're just a product.
Yeah.
And everything they do is in service of that product. And I don't look, maybe that's the difference between people who may politically lean left or right, is I don't have a need for them to be good or bad. And I feel the same way about any celebrity or politician that I agree with sometimes and disagree with other times. They are a product in service of a goal, and whether that goal aligns with what I believe might work sometimes, might not work other times. But the second you get emotionally invested in that person, you're setting yourself up for failure because you have no connection to them.
Mm-hmm. So it would be good if people could just sever their parasocial relationships with everyone involved.
Thanks for watching. Listen to full episodes of Pop Culture Crisis on Spotify.
Keep up with us on social media and make sure you subscribe and ring that bell so you never miss the show. Bye, guys.